Sagittarius November. So this is an interesting time because we are in Scorpio season for the beginning of the month, right? Scorpio is your neighbor. And I just took a course recently with the amazing Christopher Renstrom. I'm a big fan of his. And he was talking about he was the millionaire matchmaker, like behind the scenes astrologer, matchmaking people. Not that I've ever watched the show, but I think that it's kind of cool that they used astrology to make these quick decisions about who was compatible. And what he taught us that like in a quick, is this person going to be compatible or not with me? You were looking for neighboring signs. And he taught about it being in your season, right? So we're going to head into Sagittarius season at the end of this month. So if you're single, all these people that you see having their birthdays right now, those are the compatible people for you because they're considered to be in your season. Okay. And that applies through the whole month of Sagittarius season and then even into Capricorn season. Those are still really compatible energies for you, Sagittarius. Now, if you are, you might be a Sagittarius rising, and so you would have the connection there. You might be a Sagittarius moon, and so you would have these seasonal connections. Okay. It's not just your sun sign. So I thought that was kind of a fun fact as we move through this month. And so it's kind of interesting because Sagittarius, we're ruled by Jupiter. I'm a Sag too. And we're ruled by Jupiter, the planet of luck, blessings, expansion, growth, higher octave, right? Like a higher way of looking at things. And so our ruling planet, Jupiter, is right across from us. So if if you're a Sag sun, you've got right across from you Jupiter. And Jupiter is considered to be in its detriment, which is considered, a negative in the sign of Gemini. But hey, it goes into the sign of Gemini. So how bad could it be, right? So Jupiter's in this sign. Gemini rules it rules communication in astrology. It rules your environment. It's ruled by Mercury. So it has to do with merchants. And so that would have to do with purchasing things. And Mercury rules roadways and pathways. So it has to do with delivery of information or traveling, okay, or putting information out there in the world. Like I've been trying to do this video, which I've had nothing but technical difficulties. There's Jupiter across from my sun sign, okay? And it's retrograding, so things can be a little bit different too. And so Jupiter's there in opposition, making everything bigger and really sometimes feels like a challenge. But I feel like lately things are either really good or really not. And I think that has to do with something about Jupiter being in opposition to Sag. Okay, so we're going to head into a Mercury retrograde this month, and that affects us extra special this month because this is going to happen through the sign of Sagittarius, okay? So it's going to have extra oomph on us. And also remember, Gemini is always across from us, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So there's always an opposition kind of thing going on with Mercury. But the Mercury retrograde starts November 25th. Right? So Mercury is moving along, gets to November 25th, begins its backward descent in degrees, and then goes direct on December 15th, and then it kind of goes back over that ground again, right? So we know that it's going to bring us back to the date of November 7th. And if we know this, we talked about this in the month ahead video, so make sure you listen over to the November month ahead video. So it's going to bring us back in time to November 7th. So make sure you're journaling. Make sure you're paying attention from November 7th on. I would even say from the election on, and see what's coming up because those are the themes that'll be revisited, things that will be reviewed and renewed and reevaluated and renegotiated, all the rewords, okay? So this is an interesting time for you, Sagittarius. Mercury retrogrades are always interesting, but this one in the sign of Sag is even more hitting home, okay? So our Thanksgiving is going to be all through a retrograde. Now, We also have a trine going on with Mars because Mars moved into the heart-based sign of Leo. I think Mars itself is probably happy to get out of Cancer. It's kind of a more slow moving, it's almost like swimming through the water of Cancer. That's considered Mars's detriment. Now Mars is moving into this fiery heart-based sign of Leo, so we can get things done. And there's a lot of themes of joy, and there's themes of children too, because Leo rules children. Now, we also, because we are a mutable sign, Sagittarius, adaptable, mutable, sometimes a little too adaptable, we have a square with Saturn, the planet of, bang your hand on the table, Saturn energy, restrictions, hardships, but also long-term success, has career themes. And Neptune, the planet, the great healer, the planet of illusion and delusion. Now, we've had that square going on for a while, so we've kind of gotten used to it, but that will lighten up for us. And as we move into 2025 and those planets move into Aries, we will actually be trining them, okay? So there may be some hardships right now, but we're moving out of that. So just pay attention to what life is showing you. You later degree Sagittarius, the ones born more in December, you'll be really close to Venus in the early degrees of Capricorn. Okay, so that might be a really nice thing for some of you later degree Sagittarius. There's Venus themes. We already opened with talking about if you're looking for love, pay attention to the birthday parties around you. Pay attention to those people because those are the people that are very compatible for you. All right, now I did a little pre-reading for you just to get a clear idea of what I'm here to tell you. And the first card that I got was actually this 10 of Wands, 10 of Fire here from the Dreamy Moons Tarot. And this is about putting down a burden, and she looks like she's carrying it really well. She looks like she's carrying a bunch of lumber usually. Although at first this almost looked to me like she was carrying the Tower card, which I think is kind of interesting that that's what I saw. Okay, so there's a 10. So there's a shift, right? It's kind of hit these high points of trying to manage things. And I'll tell you, I can relate to that as a Sagittarius right now. And so you may be able to do it, but it doesn't mean you really need to continue up that pace, okay? Now, your next card, of course, very fitting, was the Four of Swords here. There's a lot of exhaustion and a lot of overthinking and just, a need for rest, okay? So the Four of Swords coming in, which is interesting because you got Wands, which is Sagittarius, and then you got Swords, which is Gemini, right? So we've got this opposition going on. And I've been taking a lot of classes on astrology lately, different things online, and really how oppositions are a really strong placement. And I never really thought of it like that because I used to think of oppositions, well, it's like 50-50 and this other half coming in. And I guess that's one way to look at it. But an opposition is a standoff, right? Between two, and one side wanting something and one side wanting the other. And I guess I'm used to oppositions. I have a lot of oppositions in my chart. But, you may be able to pull off all the hard work, but there is some exhaustion there. Now, the Page of Wands showed up and there's some new ideas, and she put down her burden and she picked one wand. Okay. This almost reminds me of the Ace of Wands. It's also like an idea of traveling, getting out there, adventures, and really kind of thinking about yourself, right? Maybe getting a little more healthy, selfish. Your oracle card that came up was the Enchanted Fern Grotto, and it says refuge. So it looks like there is some need for rest and retreating and just really, really enjoying beauty of nature is what this is showing me. All right, so that's your pre-reading. Let's do a live reading now and see what you need to know, because the other cards I looked at in advance, but these ones I have not. These two just jumped out, so we'll put those out there. That's from the Dreamy Moons Tarot. I'm going to give you one from the other jumper here, Modern Witch. And we'll throw in another oracle here to see what you need to know this month, Sagittarius. We're starting off with the Two of Wands. She got the World in her hands here. And so she's really moving forward, more wands, and kind of choosing maybe her relationship, where she wants to go, what she wants to do. Two of Wands. Eight of Crystals, the traditional Eight of Swords, just feeling stuck, all wound up, Boy, these cards definitely are reflecting me as a Sagittarius. I wonder if they're reflecting you too. Here's the Eight of Pentacles, which shows you hard at work. All right. So it's kind of like almost like putting down some of the burden, getting the rest you need, focusing on the relationships that are really important to you with this Two of Wands, especially the one with yourself. There's some travel themes here about where you want to be in the world, what you want to do. You feel stuck, but I think that's out of exhaustion. And your oracle card says unicorn purity. Okay, so there's some pure energy coming in. There's some magical energy coming in with the unicorn there. And so it looks to me like there's some relief. Okay, there's like a purging. There's some putting down of things. And that's a good thing for you, Sagittarius. So let's do a couple cards for each week of the month. See what we get here for the 4 weeks of November. And let's see what we got. We're starting off with week 1, our election week. We have the Queen of Wands here. So this is you, Sagittarius, the Queen of Wands, a fire queen. Queens receive, right? And she is a traveling queen. So there's a lot of themes of travel here, and she's kind of thinking about herself, right? It's very easy. I've been thinking about like how over the years I've done so much just thinking about like what my family needed and what my business needed or what my relationship needed. But this is giving me vibes that it's time to think about what I want. Okay. So I hope that you're feeling that too. Week 2, we have the Hanged Man. Okay. And so there's that rest card. There's that Neptune energy coming in under feeling stuck. But I think it's more that you're just being asked to slow down a little bit. Week 3 is when Pluto moves into Aquarius and we have the Ace of Wands. Okay, interesting. So the Ace of Wands kind of coming in under this Page of Wands. I feel like if there's decisions that you're looking to make, this is when they happen. So maybe after this rest, thinking about yourself, what you want, taking the second week to really focus on the rest and recharging. And then the third week, the ideas come in, okay? As Pluto moves into Aquarius and these new thoughts and ideas show up. Week 4, which is Thanksgiving week, we have the Sun card, okay? A card of children, a card of joy, a card of exposure, a Leo card, okay? And so this is really nice. If you take week 2 to really get the downtime, then I think you're really going to move forward into some really beautiful times here. Okay, I'm going to move these cards to the side. We're going to pull a few, we're going to roll some dice. We're going to do some charms here. We've got this gigantic bowl of charms. See if you can see those, my punch bowl full of charms. Toss some of those onto there and all over the floor. Okay, and let's see. I'm going to roll these dice. We rolled Uranus, Cancer, 7th house. We'll come back to that. Okay, up at the top, we have the word clean right up in the middle. And I don't know about you, but that's what I've been doing a lot of. Actually, I just knocked that over. I was in the middle of filming all these videos and I was having technical difficulties and with the internet. And I was really frustrated and I realized how much this room being a mess was just interfering with everything, right? And I almost felt like it was the Hanged Man coming in and being like, clean this room and the internet is not going to work until you do it. So that's what I did. And it's interesting that it falls right up at the top here. You got the letter E and a heart symbol, the letter T and the moon symbol. I've got the letter J here on the 29th of October. On the 30th, I have a little lantern. Remember, you're looking for names. Anything that jumps out to you, anything that has meaning to you, okay? Don't overthink it. Just have fun with it. On the 4th, November 4th, we have a moose, an angel, and a symbol for Monument Valley in Utah? Okay. On the 5th, we have a big crystal heart, and we're going to need that on the 5th with the election. The 6th, we have the letter L, okay? We have nothing else there except everything's like really chock full on the 13th of November, and I've got the letter D. Got a chunk of some kind of stone here. And a symbol, what does this say? Well, it's some kind of church all these charms, all these like Marys and all these religious ones. What does this say? This says Lords, which I know has like some reference to Mary. Okay. And another symbol for Mary. Okay. So you got a lot of like religious tones there. The letter D and a chunk of some kind of stone. Big day there on the 13th for you. Over on the 16th, you've got the letter Y. We've got a T that fell to the side there. On Friday the 22nd, you have the symbol for Aries. And on the 27th, you have a sun symbol. That's the same week that you got the sun card. All right. So a lot of your only really weekend day is the 16th. Looks like the 13th is the day that's coming up the strongest. Now you rolled Uranus, the oh wow planet. Anything can happen, rules the sign Aquarius. In the sign of Cancer, kind of like a mom sign of Cancer, in the 7th house, the 7th house of relationship, Libra's house. So things may come up out of the blue, but with Uranus being in the sign of Cancer showing me that you're going to need the nurturing. Kind of keeps repeating here. You're going to need to choose yourself and take care of yourself. 7th house is Libra's house, and Libra's tendency is to not always do that. Okay, so there's a lot of relationship things. There's things out of the blue. Maybe someone shows up out of the blue. Messages to clean up, okay, and to kind of purge and make space and maybe not hold on to the past so much. Now let's see what dates we can give you here off your dice. So you rolled basically Aquarius, Cancer, and Libra. And we know the moon will be in Aquarius starting Thursday the 7th at 5:58 p.m. into Friday the 8th into the 9th until 11 p.m. We have, those are power days for you. That was the 8th, 9th, 10th. And you had all your charms showed you the 4th, 5th, 6th. So it's almost like that whole week. Now, Cancer and Libra. Let's see when the moon is there. The moon will be in the sign of Libra on Tuesday, November 26th, actually starting on the 25th at 6:20 a.m. through the 26th, through the 27th, where you had the sun symbol. Okay, so that's a really powerful day right there until 7:21 p.m. All right. And the only thing that we didn't seem to find was the sign Cancer. Where is the sign Cancer for the month? Okay. The moon goes into Cancer on Monday, November 18th at 3:50 a.m. through the 19th and through the 20th until 8:51 a.m. These are power times.